Hey guys, what's up? It's Joel, aka The Daily Guru, and this is Something Old, Something New. So for Something Old today, we're gonna go to one of my favorite years in music. It's 1970. So much was going on, and we're gonna talk about one of my favorite records of all time. So you might be saying to yourself, what does Joel have in common with the likes of Jack White and Joey Ramone and Nick Cave and Henry Rollins and a whole list of other musicians? Not much. But we do all share the same favorite album of all time. It's the Funhouse record by the Stooges. If somehow you don't know who the Stooges are, perhaps the name Iggy Pop will ring a bell. You may know Iggy Pop, you may know what he looks like. Hopefully, you've heard his music. Hopefully, you own the Funhouse record. On a lot of levels, I can't really say anything that hasn't been said a million times before. That's how good this record is. It is rock and roll at its most feral, its most fierce, and its most awesome. A lot of the songs on Funhouse actually revolve around bassist Dave Alexander. His bass lines are so amazing. He would later absolutely perfect them on the title track to the Raw Power record, which if you ask me is the sexiest bass line ever written, but all across Funhouse, he is just killing it. One of the biggest things the Stooges had going for them the whole time is that you have Ron Asheton on guitar. He wrote some of the greatest riffs, and his solos are absolutely mind-blowing. One of the coolest aspects about the Funhouse record is that you have Steve Mackay really taking a prominent role on saxophone, so all of a sudden you have this early punk rock aesthetic and this saxophone, and they just melt perfectly together. Now, of course, you cannot talk about the Stooges without talking about Iggy Pop. He is the madman of rock and roll. I saw him perform live a few months ago, and he easily blew off the stage almost everybody I've ever seen in my life. The guy is like 800 years old, and he has the energy of your average teenager high on Snickers. Iggy is so intense on the record. He just grabs you, he brings you right in. His vocals, oh, they're so good. There is not a second on this record where it is not completely in-your-face intensity. From the moment the record kicks off to the very end, you're on the edge of your seat. Even if you've heard it a million times, this record never gets old. Why is this record so important? You have early, just amazing hard rock and roll. You've got glam starting here. You've got punk starting here. It's all coming together. It's like you took the Velvet Underground, and then you took what Black Sabbath was gonna be, and then you hit them with jumper cables, and you get the Funhouse record. Honestly, I don't know what else I can say that I haven't said already. If this hasn't turned you on to this record, I don't know what's wrong with you. Go out, find yourself a copy of the Funhouse record. It will blow your mind. All right, so today on Something New, we have a record that came out a few months ago. It's really good. I suggest you check it out. The name of the artist is Boxcutter. The record is called The Dissolve. If you don't know who Boxcutter is, you're much like I was. I had no idea who it was. The album looked cool. The thing I had read about it at Other Music in New York City was great. It totally turned me on. He's actually Irish electronic artist Barry Lynn. He's done a couple records before. I checked them out. This is leaps and bounds ahead of the other, but don't think this is just a record for techno club people because you couldn't be further off base. Some people might call it dubstep. I really don't agree that dubstep should be a term unto itself just yet. It hasn't sold me. If it were me, I would call this IDM. For those of you who don't know, that's called intelligent dance music. He's more akin to someone like Square Pusher. It's really good. If you're into electronic at all, you're gonna wanna check it out. If you're into just cool music, you're gonna wanna check it out. It's a very, very unique album. It's interesting about this record because sometimes it goes ambient, but yet it retains this really good beat to it, so you kind of space out, but it doesn't shut your brain off because there's so many cool noises and rhythms coming at you that it's a very, very engaging record. The one thing that really impressed me on The Dissolve is the fact that he figured out how to perfectly balance a vocal track into the electronic setting, which in my opinion is the most difficult thing for electronic artists to do correctly. There's one track on the album, it's called All Too Heavy, and there's a vocalist named Brian Green on it. It is perfect. Like I said, I'd never heard of Boxcutter before. I literally saw it at the store, read the write-up, thought it was cool, and I have to say, there is so much potential in this album. It makes me excited to hear what he does in the future. This album is great for any electronic fan, any music fan in general. It will appeal to everyone. This is a fantastic record. I suggest on the buy it, borrow it scale, you go out and you buy Boxcutter's Dissolve album. So that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. Check this out every single Tuesday and Thursday where I'll be doing something old and something new. Feel free to comment. You can email me at thedailyguru@gmail.com. You can also check out my website where every single day I'm writing up the greatest songs ever written at thedailyguru.net. We'll see you next time.